Good morning, good afternoon to everybody out there. This is Chris coming to you talking about staffing and how we make sure we have the best people on our team to support us going forward, running our businesses, and what is really your dream and how you take care of your family, provide for your kids and your spouse, and make sure the roof doesn't leak, right? It's all about your independent small business dream. And then I'll start with having the right people. So, in our previous videos, we talked a little bit about staffing, we talked about finding the right people. How do we read through the lines on interviews and backgrounds and resumes? What are the key steps of finding the right employees who will become tomorrow's MVPs for you and your team? Hey, we've got the right people now. Now what? That's the next question, right? What do I do now, Chris? I've got this guy, really good employee, got a good attitude, doesn't know anything. That's a good question, and that's a great starting point. And the key here is to start off with a foundation of success and a process that people become comfortable with, right? Your employees need to know what the big picture is and how they fit into that, and what they do impacts the whole team. And relax because you know you've hired people who are taking care of your dream, taking care of your business, and you trust them with the keys to your business, your financial security, and your dream. It starts with that first day. So here's what we do. First day, you're the boss. You're the person in charge. You need to make sure you bring them in for a very positive interaction. We're going to document because remember, here's key fact number one. Conversations do not happen without documentation. Now, it's not documentation in a negative way. Too many people think, oh, I had some documentation. I'm kind of in trouble. I had to sign something. Absolutely not. That's just stinking thinking. We want our employees to know that we document things so that we have a record for them to look back on and know exactly what those expectations are, right? The key for documentation is they get to keep it. We keep a copy, they keep a copy so they can refer to them what those expectations are. We're going to bring those employees in on that first day for like 20, 25 minutes. We're going to have a cup of coffee. I'm going to sit down as the boss. I'm going to say, hey, I'm really pleased that you're joining our team. I haven't had a chance to talk to you since the interview process, but welcome to the team. Your first day, we're going to make sure that they understand those key principles. So we're going to type up a document, a Word document. I'll throw an example over here of some key things to keep in mind. It doesn't matter if it's a paint store, beauty salon, hardware store, grocery store, or a driver training academy where you hire driver trainers. It doesn't matter what it is. You have key facts. You have a dress code that should be clearly established. Maybe you have a handbook that's in there, in which case you'll review the handbook as this document with this document. It doesn't take away what I call the responsibility document. And responsibility is a two-way street. We're going to discuss what their needs are. We're going to discuss what our needs are. We're going to make sure they know that we owe them certain things and we expect certain things. And it's going to be a two-way relationship. So it's, hey, what are your hours going to be? What is your communication policy? It's understanding start time, understanding when to take meal breaks, how and where, understanding dress code and what's acceptable and what's not acceptable, understanding our communication policy, making sure, right, if I text you when you're off work, I don't expect you to respond to that text. That's for you to look at before you come to work when you're on the clock, right? I don't expect you to be working for free. They need to know that, hey, I'm going to communicate occasionally, maybe send you an email, maybe going to send you a text. It's going to be late. If there's something that changed, I need you to focus on when you get to work, right? So make sure they understand you don't expect them to stop what they're doing and walk away from their family and the importance in their life to respond to your message. We don't expect that. Make sure they know what the expectation is in communication. If it's during working hours and you do reach out, you're going to call first. Phone call, maybe a text is going to depend on the level of necessary communication. Maybe you have a customer situation needs to be addressed right away, or maybe you just need to make sure they order some extra flowers for a display that's going up next week. Whatever it is as a level of communication, they need to understand from day one how communication is handled, what it means, and what we need from them as far as responses and additional communication. Sick policy. This is really important for a lot of businesses because there are a lot of people out there who do call out sick a great deal ever since COVID. And it's not a bad thing. A lot of people are like, oh, all these people call out sick all the time. Yeah, people call it sick. People get sick. People have different levels of getting sick. I truly believe in my heart that it's important when people are sick to not bring it to the rest of the workforce. I can have one person out with the flu, or I can have 5 people doing poor work, providing terrible customer service, all with the flu and spreading it to my customers. Much rather you call out sick, right? Now, if you have a positive work environment where people feel as they're part of the team and they're trusted with the keys and they are part of a bigger picture and how they fit in, they're not going to abuse the sick system. They're going to appreciate it. It's like car insurance, right? I have insurance for my car. Just because I didn't use it all year doesn't mean I should go hit a tree with my car so I can get my money's worth. No, it's an insurance policy. So if you're not feeling well, we can make sure your paycheck is whole and that you and your family are taken care of. When we think about things like that and we make sure our team understands that and thinks about that, we have less sick calls. But that's a whole different video on how to handle that. So, communication strategies. We talked about dress code policies, sick policy, vacation time, break policies, right? All the key things they need to do. Also, what are their key responsibilities? And you're going to say this with an asterisk. I want you to know what the job I hired you for is key responsibilities. Now, I do not expect you to be able to do all these tomorrow, but I think it's really important that if you're a checker in a grocery store, you understand daily checking, working the registers, right? You also may be needed on inventory, right? You may be needed to make sure that the bags are stocked. You maybe make sure to support cart roundup. There's other key things. We're going to list those key priorities and other daily duties for the success of the business so that they truly understand what the responsibilities are and what they are not, right? So if I have an employee who was hired to be a checker and all of a sudden they're in the meat department cutting prime rib, I have a problem. They're not trained for that and wasn't hired for that. And that creates a safety issue for me, but it also creates a problem for them. I need to step in and go, this wasn't on your original duties that we agreed to. What's going on here, right? So making sure you have that clear dialogue, that clear conversation, and then asking them questions to make sure they understand, right? If you say the car is blue, and they're excited and they're like, I love it. And they go home and they go, yeah, the cars are red. Red car, blue car. It's really about what they hear and what they understand. And what someone hears when they first start with a company is up to the person communicating. It is my responsibility as the leader of that communication and that coach for that new employee to make sure they truly understand what I'm saying. If they don't understand it, I didn't teach it well. That's on me. So when our team fails to understand or fails to follow direction, the responsibility is on the coach, the boss, the person in charge who provided that information. It's your job to make sure your team understands what you need them to do and how you need them to do it. It's your job to clarify and confirm that understanding. So, solves a lot of problems, and everybody's speaking the same uh, direction and the same description and listening to understand, not just listening to wait for your turn to talk. I had an old boss, a friend of mine, told me, Chris, it's a long time ago. Probably still applies. You say, Chris, are you listening to what I'm saying? Or are you waiting for your turn to talk? That struck me really well. I've been listening to that in my head for years. And as a boss, as a staffing manager, as a district manager, as many of the responsible roles I've had leading a team, it always struck me this isn't about me and my boss. This is about me and my team. So if I'm the boss or the owner of that hardware store, or I'm a district manager for a coffee company, whatever it is, you need to listen to your team to understand what they need because most people are kind of nervous and a little scared to tell their boss what they truly need. So you got to listen between the lines and make sure you understand. Don't just listen and wait for your turn to talk, right? You are listening to understand. And when they're done talking, ask questions so they know you are listening, right? If someone's telling me about something's wrong with the register and it keeps messing up and they've been struggling with it and that's why they're behind the line all day, right? I need to go, okay, thanks for telling me. No, I need to say, hey, when did that start? When did the first challenge with this register become available? Who did you talk to about it? What steps did we take? I am sorry for the frustration. That can be really difficult. We're going to get that fixed for you, right? Engage in the dialogue they've chosen so they hear that you're listening and not just, hey, we'll take care of it. Thanks. Go work on Register 2 instead, right? That's not a conversation. That's me speeding them away because I don't have time. Doesn't matter what you're doing when you're the boss, when you're the supervisor, when you're in charge of hiring and developing your team, you find the time and you listen to your people. And if you get behind, so be it. But you take a few minutes and you make sure your team knows you care and you're engaged and you want their feedback. All right, so we've had them come in. They're going to sign this document. It's going to be a Word document with like 10 or 12 bullet points on there. We're not writing a novel. They're just bullet points and things we're going to review with them. Here's the fun fact. We're going to review this document every month. So maybe it's the last Tuesday of every month. You sit down with your team members and you just do a document, a review. We like to call it. Some companies will call it a one-with-one or a meeting or a scheduled time. I like to call it feedback time. Right? We're going to schedule some feedback time. We're going to make sure these new employees know that the second Tuesday of every month, my boss, Chris, Bob, Joe, Julie, Susie, whoever that boss is, schedules time like between like 1 and 2. I come and see them, or they come to me. Right? If I'm working nights, they're going to come see me on my schedule. We're gonna make this convenient for them, and we're gonna just review that information. How are things going? Right? How are these responsibilities? How do you gauge and do you feel like you're mastering these skills? How do your progress going? Ask these questions. Ask open-ended questions, engage in dialogue. And then we can update the document as needed because there may be new tasks we're adding, or we can clarify some where they're struggling. Hey, I'm really struggling with this, the paint shaker in the hardware department. Every time I do it, I make a big mess. I've tried a lot of times. I talked to Bob. He doesn't know what's going on. Okay, cool. We're gonna make some notes of that, and we're gonna schedule some extra time with someone who's really good at that and share best practices to help you with that. And then we'll see progress next time, right? We're documenting that. We're re-signing that document and we're just throwing it in a file. They're keeping a copy, right? We're also always, key fact number 2, No matter what questions you decide to ask, always ask about, hey, how's your pay? How are your benefits? Right? We're going to engage them because remember, this document is also their contract with us. I owe them a good schedule. I owe them notification of schedule that's going to change on a certain timeline, 2 or 3 weeks out. Hey, I'm not going to call you Tuesday and say, you're working tomorrow. Sorry, I thought you were off, but you're working, right? They need to know when they're paid, how much they're paid. Is their W-2 filled out correctly? Are their benefits registered correctly? Do they have any questions? And you're going to say, well, I just haven't called the number and set up the benefits. BS. I'm going to call you out on that. If you're in charge, even if you don't coordinate or set up their benefits, you need to educate yourself to be an expert on how your team is paid, how your employees are paid, how their benefits work, right? You need to be able to answer their questions because when they look to you as their boss, the representative of your company or the owner of the small business, and they say, this is my boss. He should know these things, right? They're not gonna. People get scared. They get nervous. They just assume they don't want to ask questions because everyone will think I don't know anything, right? And they just don't ask questions. So by having that time, we discuss these things. We talk about the important things for them. I'm asking you to do all these things, and let's talk about my commitment to you and your family, your pay, your benefits, your time off, your schedule, your upcoming vacations, right? Knowing they have time to sit down and have these conversations with you every single month. I think once a month is more than enough. That gives them that placeholder where if they have a question, something's coming up, they can make a little note. Okay, I'm going to see the boss next week. I'll bring it up then, right? There's that opportunity for that dialogue. We document it, keep a copy. They keep a copy. It's a positive opportunity to reflect and course correct or high five and recognize, right? We want to build that environment because when people have processes and return and routines and they feel like they're part of something, they're not scared, they're not fearful, like we've talked about before. Fear kills sales, fear kills productivity, and those will kill your business. So set up that environment, leverage that document, be clear and communicate with your team. Remember, the people you have are a blank slate. They're your team. You're looking for clay. You're looking for people you can develop who can hold the keys to your dream and allow you to breathe and not be at work all the time because you are building a team who will help you and your family and your business and your dream be successful. Take care of your business by taking care of your people, and you will be very successful. That's all I've got for this video. I'll get some more up there soon. Appreciate all your time. Let me know if you have any questions. Otherwise, stay safe out there. It's a crazy world we all live in right now. Stay positive, stay safe, and tomorrow will be a much better day. Thank you.